So thanks for joining us, Esly. Can you just give a second to introduce yourself to everyone?
Right. Well, my name is Esly Carvalho. I am Brazilian American. I was raised in Dallas, and then I went back to Brazil in my teenage years and did most of my professional training in Brazil. And I've moved around a bit and lived in Ecuador and Bolivia and in Dallas once again. So I've kind of been around. And that's when I learned EMDR therapy, was when I was living in Colorado at one point. So I'm really excited about it. My first training was in psychodrama, and I bring that into my training as well.
Okay, good. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the workshop, the name of the workshop? Well, yeah, let's first start with the name.
Well, the workshop is on creative strategies, creative protocols, clinical strategies. Um, it's creative protocols that will allow us to have clinical strategies to work in practical terms. And so what people will be seeing is about 7 or 8 different protocols or strategies that we can use with our clients so that we can work better with them. Sometimes we get stumped into certain situations and we need some creative ways to get out of those situations or to better serve our clients. So we've got about 7 or 8 different protocols that will make it possible for us to do that.
Okay. And so what are people going to walk away from the workshop knowing how to do?
Well, one of the protocols is called the Pillars of Life, which is a resource installation protocol based on Carlos Raimundo's protocol on celebrating life, celebrating what works. So we have something that will help people do some preparatory work or even wrap-up work where it's a positive installation sort of thing. And we have the adult drawing protocol, which will allow people who have a very clear negative cognition to be able to make drawings and use that as the image in our protocols. We also have different ways of doing ego state therapy, which is named as role therapy, much more so, which is a comeback from my psychodrama training. It allows us to be able to see the people who live inside of us. It's based on my book, Healing the Folks Who Live Inside. And we all have roles that live inside of us, and how we can treat those different roles that get stuck or frozen in the past and help them integrate with our adult roles so that we have a more adult and healthy response to life and decisions that we need to make. That one's a little bit longer, so we'll be taking that. People will be able to walk away with the protocols and be able to do this on Monday. It's the kind of thing that it's very, very practical. I also like to work with physical ailments and illnesses. So we'll be using the other things that we learned during the workshop, how we can apply that to psychosomatic disease and illnesses, and how we can even develop antidotes that will help people be able to fight off some of the diseases and illnesses that they face in a way that might help them along with the other sorts of treatment that they're going through, medical treatments and surgeries and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things, little bits and pieces that will help people come away with something very, very practical for their practices.
Okay, good. And then who would you say would benefit from coming to this workshop?
I think anybody who has a good grasp on EMDR therapy. I would hope that people who had done level 1 training, the part 1 training, who know the 8 phases will benefit from this. This is what we walk them through. They would need to have that kind of training. Without EMDR therapy, I think it would be more difficult.
Right, okay. So Esly, would you say that people that have recently been trained in level 1 and level 2, which is the full EMDR training, if they've just come out of that training, do you think they could still benefit from this?
Oh, yes. This is very, very practical. It's very hands-on. There will be practicum as well, and demos and videos. So people will be able to see how it's done. They will take home the protocols so that they can reproduce this in their own offices with their clients. And they'll be able to put this to work very, very quickly.
Okay. And what I'm hearing you say is that these are different types of protocols you can use with various things. So it's not specific to a certain type of population that someone might work with.
No, you can use it with practically any population. Obviously, the most complex cases with dissociation and stuff would go into a different kind of category. But most of the other clients that we see on a daily basis in our clientele, in our practices, will be able to benefit from these things. Sometimes we get stumped, or just so that we don't keep going on and on the same way, we can use some of these protocols to be able to get at things in a different way. I think I'm very visual, and I think that when we can see things as a therapist as well as a client, we can also help them do better as well.
Okay, good. Well, I'm excited to have you come all the way from Brazil.
All the way from Brazil. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it.